Hey, Star Wars fans, welcome back. It's draft night with the Rule the Galaxy crew, and we have a full house. It's been a while since we've been fully loaded like this, but we got a ton of the Rule the Galaxy crew here, and we're really excited. So, welcome back. It's Joe in the pilot seat, and thank you all for listening. Thank you for all your comments, all your activity on Twitter with us. We really, really enjoy it. We really appreciate it. You know what? As always, you can follow us at Rule the Galaxy SW on Twitter. You can email us at rulethegalaxysw@gmail.com. You can check us out on Facebook. We don't go on there very often, but we'll try to do that more and more if you want to interact with us there. And you can check us out live like this or see our pretty faces right there on YouTube. Just go to YouTube and hit Rule the Galaxy as Mass smiles at us. But as you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, we have a full house. I'll just start my left and go to my right and introduce our co-host, Mass. Got the Whiteland Warriors hat on tonight during the NFL draft. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah, we had the track meet tonight. Elliot runs the 400 and the 4x400 relay. They it was against Decatur and Mooresville. They won. I don't think they've lost yet. They're pretty good. They're track team.
If I remember at younger age, Mass, you were quite the quick little runner yourself. You did some running in your younger days, right?
Yeah. Nobody believes me, but that is actually where his speed comes from. Yeah, but yeah.
What event? What event was your specialty there, Mass?
Well, when I actually ran cross country, and then in track I ran the 400 also.
Okay.
Yeah, but he is actually, I think he's better at it than I was. Yeah, he hasn't lost yet.
Good for him. Good for him. It's good to have something you love to do and to keep in shape and all those kind of things. So kudos to Elliot for running track. I wish I could get my old bones out there running more often. So glad to hear that. Nick Shesky. Nick, adding to your background there, I see more Star Wars stuff going on behind you every time you're on the show. How are you, Nick?
It's a gradual increase, right? Just very subtly, very quiet when the wife's not looking. Just
one thing at a time.
Adding. Oh, I was over at my parents' house and I found this from when I was growing up. Just slowly. No, I'm very good. The Colts don't draft till pick 21, I think. So by then, I don't know what we have to look forward to. So other than that, we're doing great. Just hanging out. Glad to be here.
Well, to give anyone who's listening, let you know what's going on. It's the 7th pick, and the Lions just selected a tackle from Oregon. So we got a long time till pick number 21.
That young man's dad is excited.
Yes, he is. And the guy dancing on the NFL Network right now is scaring me. Anyway, Brent Dykman, Biggin, how are you, sir? Your Falcons have already taken a tight end in the draft. How are you? And welcome back to Rule the Galaxy.
Yeah, I'm just excited for the escape that we can talk the wars. Seeing it is the draft night, it was kind of a cool idea to do some fantasy drafting in the Star Wars universe to make it kind of topical. So I did a little planning, and Misa thinks my list is good for this evening.
I swear, Massaguel's gonna punch some of you guys right in the face.
I'm gonna take him just so he can't.
Just so you can put him on the bench.
It's gonna be my number one pick.
Oh gosh. Well, glad to have you back, Brent. Alfie, good to see you up there with your Mandalorian gear, and I believe you have something that actually works this week.
Oh yeah,
you can show us live on YouTube here.
I tried to show it last week, but the batteries were dead. That's the Kylo Ren Supreme Leader Black Series lightsaber.
That is pretty. That is pretty. It looks good. It sounds good.
Oh, yeah. It's nice.
Well worth the investment.
Yeah, it was.
So we have 5 of us here this evening. While we do this mock draft, this is going to be wild. So hopefully one of you is good with writing this down, because I'm not sure I'm going to be able to keep track, but I'll try. I will try. And I think when we do get to it, we're going to do one mock draft or one fantasy draft, and it's going to be non-force using heroes or good guys or whatever you want to say on that term. So non-force using characters that were on the Rebels, Rebellion, Republic, all those kind of things. And the other one we're going to look to do is force using villains. And I think before we got on the air, we discussed doing 4 rounds of a draft for each of those. So we'd each have 4 either non-force using heroes or 4 force using villains. So go ahead, Brent.
I just want to make sure we also explain that we can pull in from the expanded universe. It's a no holds barred approach to anything that is labeled with a Star Wars. So I feel like I'm going to be at a disadvantage for most of you people because I'm not as seasoned in my dark side powers. But we can pull in from the dark side and pull in from the expanded universe, the books, the comics, the video games, anything you can think of.
I like it. I'm ready. And you know what? I did not do my research as much as I should have because I've read so many books that there's probably characters that I'm going to forget and not put in there. But you know what? That's on me for having lack of preparation. It's just like being a New York Jets fan or a Cleveland Browns fan. Sometimes the lack of preparation comes back to haunt you.
You got being a Steeler fan, you got to throw the Browns under the bus, don't you? It's a given. Like it has to happen.
You are correct. You are correct. So we'll get to that in a moment. But before we do, we're going to go a little Force 4 as we usually do, and talk about a few topics that came up this week. We'll end with a banger that we all found out about today that was awesome, and just I'm really excited to talk about that one topic. But Force 4 number 1, Disney and Lucasfilm said, hey, you know what? With May the 4th coming out next week, we're going to give you that Bad Batch on Tuesday, 70 minutes of the Bad Batch, which I think we're all interested to see what's going to go on there. But they put together a list of actual Clone Wars episodes that you should watch if you want to be caught up and ready to go for Bad Batch. So for our listeners, for our viewers, and for all of us, I wrote down the list, and I'll run through this. It says you should watch Season 3, Episode 1, The Clone Cadets, followed by Season 1, Episode 4, Rookies. One of Brent's favorite things about the Clone Wars and masses, Season 1, Episode 4 actually falls behind Season 3, Episode 1. Then we go, and that's Rookies. Season 3, Episode 2, The ARC Troopers. Then Season 3, Episode 18, The Citadel. Season 3, Episode 19, Counterattack. Season 5, Episode 2, War on Two Fronts. Season 5, Episode 3, Front Runners. Season 5, Episode 4, The Soft War. Season 5, Episode 5, The Tipping Point. Alfie, Nick, somebody check me on this, but one, the Citadel, is that where they meet Grand Moff Tarkin?
Yes.
And they carbon freeze Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka to get into the Citadel. Is that one?
That is the one.
And that's where they lose Echo, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Lose Echo and man, I can't remember the Jedi Master who dies as well.
Oh,
And they
yes.
drop his body into the
Pink guy?
Peel. Something
Peel.
Peel.
That's it. Yep.
Yep. And then Season 5, Episodes 2, 3, 4, and 5. Is that the Pong Krell? That's not Umbara, is it? On Season 5, Episode 2, 3, 4, and 5. If one of you guys want to look on your phone and see the Disney lineup, or
Isn't that the one where they're in the skyscraper? I don't think it's Pong Krell. It's like Crystalis, where they're in the skyscraper, and
I can't remember off the top of my head. I know Clone Cadets, Rookies, and ARC Troopers. I know that one very well. You meet 99. You see Fives and Heavy and all those guys. So I know
what were
that
the
one.
episodes again?
Season 5, Episodes 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Onderon to train a group of rebels.
Oh, really?
Oh,
okay.
That's Saw Gerrera.
Saw Gerrera,
Right?
yeah, and his sister Stila
Yeah.
Gerrera.
they talked about having Saul Guerrero show up in this.
He is.
As-
He is.
as
In the
he-
trailer.
And he's in the trailer, so this is probably why they said to watch this. So you know how he's aged and how he's going through.
Yep. And then last
Well,
but
and
not
that
least,
dealt a lot too of like when does the freedom fighters, when do they become exactly what they're fighting against?
you are correct. You are correct. And last but not least, they threw in one Mandalorian episode you should watch, and that is season 1, episode 5, The Gunslinger, where we meet, excuse me, I'm totally blanking. I just had her name in my head. The young lady who's
Fennec Shin.
Yes, there we go.
Yeah.
So you're going to meet her there. You're going to see Saw Gerrera in the Onderon, the Citadel. You're going to see where we lose Echo and clone cadets, rookies, and ARC troopers. Just the basic story starting on with fives and that group and meeting Clone 99. So that was a pretty good list, and I would suggest that people who haven't seen those going into next Tuesday, I think it probably would be a good idea to check those out. Refresh your course, get you going, get you ready, all those kind of things. And of course, it also said to watch the Bad Batch episodes from season 7. So get you all set up and go through the. Any thoughts on those at all, guys? I mean, I didn't have off the top of my head which ones those season 5 ones were, but that's one of my favorite. Now that I think about it, one of my favorite ones because you had Ahsoka falling for the guy who was falling for Steela. You had Saw. I mean, you had a lot of things going on right there. So, does that get you pumped and primed to watch the Bad Batch?
Yes.
Yeah,
Good.
it does, especially the Citadel one with Tarkin. Just again, we've seen him in the trailer, but not knowing how involved he'll be throughout it. I think that's going to be really cool, especially the whole arc of that is essentially like the Jedi don't have the ability to do what it takes to win. And
Right.
so we do as the Empire, and if you're soft, then we exterminate you.
Well, and we saw in that set of episodes right there, Anakin and him kind of saw eye to eye on things because they both were friends with the Emperor, well, the Chancellor at the time, and Ahsoka was being very hesitant to agree with what he was saying and what he was trying to lead the troops to do. She thought he was kind of going at it in a cutthroat way. So, if I remember correctly, she was kind of like, I'm not trusting this guy at all, while Anakin was buying in lock, stock, and barrel. So, yeah, I think it'd be great. You're seeing a lot of different things there. I think it'd be a good refresher course. So yeah, that for everybody. You know what? I'll put those episodes in the show notes so people have those there. Force Forward number 2. I think Mr. Brent Dykeman will like this one. The rumor mill is we will be seeing Wookiees in Mandalorian season 3. So how are we jazzed about Wookiees, one of the main species and everything that we haven't seen yet in Mando? Are we feeling good about that? Think they'll do them well? I know in Rebels they were kind of drawn kind of odd. People were like, whoa, I like Wookiees there, but they seem kind of odd in Rebels, little claymation kind of looking. They're probably going to do them upright in the live action series, but are we buying this? We feel like Wookiees will be in Mandalorian season 3.
Sure. Why
Okay.
not?
Alfie.
Yeah, I've read the rumors too. I would probably guess they will be. But I also thought that the Wookiees in Solo looked off. They looked kind of Sasquatchy.
They were too
did.
skinny.
I remember somebody, Anthony Daniels was talking about that in his book when I did the audio version of his book. And he said people were asking him the same thing. And he said that the story behind it was because they were stuck on Kessel and not getting fed, living in basically caves, that they were losing, their hair was falling out. They were getting emaciated and all that kind of stuff. So that's the look they were going for. But you're right. It did look like, was it the Land of the Lost?
Yeah.
They look like that creature from that.
And I got that from watching it, but still they just didn't look right.
No, I agree. Hey, by the way, off topic, not a Force 4, but does anybody think Aaron Rodgers is going to get traded tonight?
No.
No?
It would take a ransom, a king's ransom to get him. But on the other note, the Wookiees, I would like to see how they're going to work that in. Are they going to find them in a different spot? Are they going to travel to our favorite land of Kashyyyk?
That would be great.
That'd be sweet.
right? Like, so are we going to see Kashyyyk in the volume right? Because you can go do wherever you want to in the volume with what they got going on. It's piqued the curiosity of where are we going to run into our said Wookiee friends, and I would love to see Wookiees.
Do we think it's overall Wookiees, or do you think they're going to bring back our favorite Wookiee in Chewbacca and make him part of it? Or do you think they'll leave it more broad and wide open with just the Wookiee species?
I think they'd be better off going species, bringing in some new Wookiees.
I tend to agree with you on that one.
As I always say, I want to see the new, but you're not gonna see me reject a Chewbacca appearance.
Okay, I got you. Force Forward number 3. We've got a new book that came out this week. It's the second in the Thrawn Ascendancy book, Greater Good, number 2 of that series. Read number 1 with the blue pages. It was a good book. Sometimes a little difficult with the Chiss language to get through. A lot of detail in that first book. But I mean, it's hard for me to turn down a Thrawn book. I'll probably be picking up this audiobook version. Go ahead, Brent.
Okay, so this is where the ignorance of the EU comes in. He has one trilogy, which is the original trilogy, which was like the 91 trilogy, Heir to the Empire and Dark Force Rising, not Dark Force Rising. Or is it Dark Force Rising?
It is.
It is.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So, and then the third one, right? But
Yep.
then
Last
is there a second? So this one you're talking about is it a third trilogy that you're talking about with Thrawn?
Yeah.
Okay.
There was Thrawn,
there's another
Thrawn Treason, and Thrawn.
Right. Okay. They're all labeled Thrawn. Okay.
Yeah. So this one's Thrawn Ascendancy. It's part of the new one that's coming out, and they've already announced that I think in November the third book of the trilogy is coming out as well. One, they always do these books looking beautiful. I mean, they look great as a cover. It's much more of a thinking series, I think. Would you guys agree to that? That it's there's bits of action in it, but you really have to think. Like they put the character into the book to where some books are just, pew pew, shooting and space battles and all that. This one, every time you get Thrawn in, they really get you deep into thinking of what's going on and where this is going. So I will be picking it up soon. I'm a Thrawn fan, so I'm looking forward to that. But I just thought it was good. And you know what? Maybe we'll, as we were discussing beforehand, Mark Thompson always does a good job with the Thrawn books, and hopefully we're going to have him on in the near future, which would be great to just. I would spend an hour just asking him, how do you do this? How do you go from character to character? And he does a great job with Thrawn. So we'll see what goes on there. So that's Force Forward number 3. Force Forward number 4, before we get, we're going to go 5, but Force Forward number 4, one of my favorites, Matt Lanter, the guy who plays Anakin in the animated series. He was doing an interview because Jupiter Legacy is going to be coming out soon on Netflix, the new superhero series. And people started asking him about Star Wars. And he said, hey, you will see Anakin again. There's animation in the works right now at Lucasfilm that has not been announced, where he's playing Anakin again as the voice of Anakin Skywalker. That I think that's some good things right there. I mean, I think he does that character as much as Hayden Christensen is Anakin. I think for me, Matt Lanter is also just as much Anakin, just like I see James Arnold Taylor being just as important as Obi-Wan, as a Ewan McGregor or Alec Guinness. So, Mass, go ahead.
I'd say there's been so many Clone Wars episodes that he might be more of Anakin than Hayden Christensen is. To me,
right? You're right.
Yeah,
thinking about it. And you know what? From everything I've seen of this guy, and one of the reasons I think I'm so excited about him and his involvement with it is he really eats it up with the fans. Like, he gets excited to talk to Star Wars fans, and it's not just because he's a Star Wars fan, so he gets all pumped up about it. I know I always talk about Rebel Force Radio, but I love the story that I can't remember if it was Jason Swank, or I think it was Swank. Jimmy and Jason were talking about it, but when they were trying to get an interview with him, they reached out to him and he called back. And when they answered, they're like, "Hi, this is Jimmy or Jason," and he was like, "Hi, this is Anakin Skywalker," in that voice, and they said they just like almost crapped their pants. They were like, "Oh my gosh," So he's really into it. So I'm excited. And anytime I'm going to watch the Jupiter Legacy on Netflix. I'm excited for that because I'm hoping it's not The Boys Part 2. Or what?
So good.
But Jupiter Legacy's got me excited. But Matt Lanter, thumbs up. Guy's a good guy, and I'm looking forward to that. Go ahead, Brent.
So, I mean, he could be on the Bad Batch, right? So, like, it's not necessarily that's something coming up. He easily could show up in the Bad Batch at some point because we don't know necessarily the timeline of the Bad Batch. We know that episode, like in season 7, it blends into episode 3, which before he turned, like when he's turning, right? So the fight in the the Darth Maul Ahsoka fight,
Mandalore, CJ Mandalore.
Yeah, it's matched up. That Darth Maul that fight is matched up with the Palpatine Mace Windu fight. So there's no telling that you could see him show up in the Bad Batch because we don't know the timeline. Are they going to do a little bit of setting the stage of the Bad Batch before they hop us into stories past the Fall of 66? So there's a possibility that he's referring to being in the Bad Batch.
Could be. You could be exactly right. They could be doing, hey, the first episode or two, we're gonna retrace our steps, see where we are, and Anakin had interaction with them. He and Obi-Wan did at season 7 have some interaction with them, right? So anything's possible, I guess. Hopefully, I'm gonna hope that it's more than that. But you're right, Brent. It could just be that. So there's so many moving parts right now in Star Wars. It's not even funny. The Cowboys are up and they traded their pick to the Eagles. It looks like, I think maybe it's weird, but the Cowboys will figure out a way to mess it up anyway. So
Such
anyway,
a hater fan.
So this one I didn't put in the Force 4, but I think it's the biggest story. And Alfie, you brought it to our attention. You probably know it better than I do, and you probably did some more research on it today. I'll do a quick recap from what I can see. Luke's hand from The Empire Strikes Back is on Exegol. Darth Vader's there. The Emperor's there showing him the beginning of the Final Order fleet. Is that what I'm reading? It's in the next Darth Vader comic. They said they could use this hand for anything, probably meaning cloning. I know what I'm wanting for that, but Alfie, catch me up. Am I right? What am I missing? What's going on with all that?
Yeah, that's pretty much all I saw today was just those 3 panels and then a lot of speculation and theories and all that. But I mean, once again, we're going to cherry pick, something from the EU. And in my opinion, we're going to use it to try to tie up some loose ends in some stories, bring some validity to a certain character.
I agree. Tying up loose ends. Nick, it looked like you were having some thoughts or going to say something. Did you have some thoughts?
I was partly stretching, but I was also curious. Has this comic been released yet, Alfie? Or was this a snapshot that somebody
I think it's just a little preview of the next issue.
Okay. It hasn't come out yet, right?
I don't think so, but I'm not 100% sure either.
I did see another pane of it where they're showing Vader overlooking all of the Star Destroyers that are being built on Exegol. And
I saw that one.
He looks at him and he's like, "This is all you have? Cool." And it's like very Darth Vader, very, I'm not impressed by your machines. But that's all I've seen.
Does anyone know the timeline of when this is occurring? Is this between Empire and Jedi? The Darth Vader comic?
I think so.
I'm not really sure. I haven't read the whole comic, but just here and there.
Okay. So I'm going to throw some things out there that I think. And one, God love them. They've got to sell comics. They've got to sell books. I get it. But I think this storyline that they're weaving into this is much more important than being showing up in a brief couple segments of a comic book. I mean, one, if Luke's hand is out there, it's making it into a comic, years down the road and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know. It just kind of throws me. I mean, I want to know these kind of stories, and I want to know what's tying things together. With that being said, I think instead of them making Snoke out of this, some people are saying this is going to lead right into that Grand Admiral Thrawn trilogy that's not canon now, but they're trying to make it canon from 91, 92, 93, to where they're making that Luke clone. They're making that Joris Sabath or Kaboth clone or whatever. Sabayoth, right? I personally am going to lean this way. I think they're going to weave and dodge some DNA from the Emperor before Return of the Jedi, some of Luke's DNA together to try to create this master force wielding creature. And I think it's going to end up being Rey's father.
Yeah.
Is the end result from this.
It's exactly who it's going to be.
That's my thought. I don't think it's going to be Snoke. I think that's who it's going to be, which would then in turn
make her Skywalker.
Make her a Skywalker, partially a Skywalker.
And that's what I said today in our chat. I brought this up after episode 12 of The Mandalorian.
Brent,
it ties up what everybody was angry about with her using the name. It makes her an actual blood-born Skywalker.
Brent is smiling. Brent is smirking. Brent is squinting.
I mean, if you've already written it and you're going to take the best ideas from what's already been done, this is an easy one.
I'm not saying that it's not also like the direction and the path. It's if you go to and this is from listening to other podcasts and the novelization, they talk about the Emperor doing cloning to try to create a clone of himself, and he can't control the Force, so he writes off his son, who then has a natural born child that can use the Force, who is Rey. So if you want to say that, then so they're using Palpatine and Skywalker DNA.
Maybe I'm just throwing it out.
Are they going to throw in Grogu DNA in there too? Because we got to bring him in. so she's half Yoda. She's a third Yoda. Like
mix it up.
She has pointy ears. Her ears are a little pointy.
Okay. No, I know definitely. It definitely does. It rings like it's moving that direction. It would be awesome to know what the timeline of that was, because is the timeline closer to the original Thrawn trilogy stuff, or is the timeline more later and more towards the Mandalorian, where they're building and trying to cherry pick that story and make it work into the First Order stuff? Does that make sense? Because I feel like those are two different timelines. Or it may take that long to work on this cloning.
Go ahead, Alfie.
But within the novels and comics and all that, they've already established that he's been working on this since episode 1.
The cloning piece?
Yeah, he had the facility on Jakku.
Yep. That's the aftermath stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what was hidden on Jakku that made it to where that was a big battle at the end of Aftermath, right?
This comic has to take place between 5 and 6.
Yes, has to.
It has. So whatever time period that is, it's got to take place between there. I'm with you, Joe. I feel like this feels like if this is where it does go, it's going to take me back to when did Rise of Skywalker come out? 2019. It's going to take me right back to sitting in the theater and going, really? Like what? Like, because it feels like a technicality, you know what I'm saying? Like if it really does turn out that she's a Skywalker because we mixed with the DNA from Luke's hand, and that's why we never got the full story from Maz Kanata's, like how we got.
I'm not arguing against that whatsoever, because I feel exactly the same way. I'm just saying that's where this is going.
I get it. I'm just gonna sit back though, and I'm just gonna be like, okay. So on YouTube, you can go find the behind the scenes making of Rise of Skywalker. And I was watching a few minutes of it, and they're like interviewing the cast and they're doing all this stuff. And what's so interesting, you're watching it, you're going like, all of you are so confident that this is going to be such a good movie, and you have no clue what's about to happen. Like they interview Rose Tico, and she's like, there's kind of this cool swagger of like, you've been there and you've done it, but it's also nerve wracking. And you're like, what are you like? And it brought me back to that feeling that I'm feeling right now. The same feeling of So help me, if it actually turns out that she put that story to rest, give me more Mandalorian and Bad Batch.
Have you ever watched the beginning documentary on episode 1?
Love that documentary.
Oh, but is it just not painful to watch all those people so engrossed in their work?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, spending
just like,
hours
oh
and hours putting Jar Jar Binks together in a CGI.
this is going to be the tentpole of the movie right here.
I mean,
Hey.
Misa thinks it was a good piece.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jar Jar.
Well, you know, they pulled it
Number
off with
one
Yoda.
pick.
They pulled it off with Yoda in the original trilogy. And George said, hey, it worked once. Let's put magic in a bottle and see if it'll work again, right? I mean, a crazy speaking alien species, okay, that's where we got. So go
George
ahead.
just doesn't understand that less is more.
Well, because there was that, and I didn't know about this until Joey told me about it. But they had the how editing saves Star Wars. The first cut of Star Wars needed a lot of help because of what you just said. Lucas just didn't know how to put the story together in a coherent way. Like there were so many ideas.
Let's do 15 minutes of Luke and his friends in the cantina just hanging out buying shop parts. Nope.
But so I'm going to go a different way. So you can malign the Jar Jar Binks as much as you want to for a character, but that dude changed movie making history. We wouldn't have the technology, and you wouldn't have the movie Avatar if you didn't have Jar Jar Binks. You wouldn't have the motion capture that you've had. You wouldn't have the realistic video games that you have. You wouldn't have all of that if they didn't put the effort in to make Jar Jar Binks.
Andy Serkis would be out of a career if it wasn't for someone like.
But that's like saying you have to give credit to Lost in Space. Because without that movie, there wouldn't be Jar Jar Binks. No.
The black and white Flash Gordon.
Andy Serkis would
I'm
be
talking
living
about
in
the
somebody's
remake
basement.
with the little CG monkey in it.
Yes, with Joey from Friends in it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Look, I mean, guys, I think we're at a point where there's some exciting things could be happening. We don't know where this is going. If this comic, which I'll probably now buy because I want to see what's going on. I want to know what is going on there. It does freak me out a little bit to think that, but then again, Palpatine is the puppet master of it all. But to think that between Empire and Jedi, he was putting a fleet out at Exegol without anybody else knowing about it. I mean, it's just I want to see how it all comes together. I will hold my tongue and not rip on it. I will just say I want to see how it all comes together. But we've been looking for these things that make Luke the shell of himself later on, right? I think with the cloning of something off of him and maybe bringing Mara Jade back into it and things like that, they could make Luke become a shell of himself. Go ahead, Mass.
No, I was just gonna say, can I borrow that after you're done reading it when you the Darth Vader comic book? I know I'm not gonna buy it.
Well, Mass, I will tell you this: Burger King's running a special right now, and if you buy one Whopper, you get the second Whopper for $1. I've got $1.
35 cents.
I got $1.
Okay.
Hi,
But
Azalea.
yeah, I am waiting for Mara Jade in some capacity to enter the fold. Hello.
They're bringing everybody else back, Mass.
Right, but
They're bringing everybody else back.
She's such a great character.
Anybody else? I monopolize that. Any other thoughts on the cloning of Luke's hand? Where's it going? What's it going? Anybody have any other thoughts on where it might go? I said which way I thought it would go, but it could go anywhere.
I mean, they're using Grogu, right? So if you go to the Mandalorian in season 2, what is it? So, but it's Star Wars, Azalea. You love Star Wars.
Yes, we've got Mandalorian stuff here, Azalea. Look, see?
So you got the cloning of the hand, you got the cloning of whatever. They're talking about the M count in the doesn't have enough. I mean, they're bringing cloning. Cloning's been something that they're weaving in So I'm sure that you guys are correct because you have way more extensive expanded universe knowledge than I do. So yeah, I mean, I can see where you're talking about it. Again, I always want the new. I want the new story. I want something new. This is kind of new in a way. It's kind of old and it's kind of a retelling.
Well, think
I don't
about
know.
this though, Brent. In The Force Awakens, when Finn breaks off and goes in AWOL, Kylo turns to Hux and says, maybe we should go to a clone army, right? Doesn't he say that in Force Awakens right there? So it's there. It's weaved into the story in
Right.
Force Awakens, in Rise of Skywalker, in the prequels. It's brought up in the original trilogy. So go ahead, Alfie.
To Brent's point about Grogu, how long would it have taken them to know that it was successful with Rey? Maybe they were used up by that time. The sample that they had, maybe it was no longer viable. They find out that it actually worked, and they had to find a new host.
True. I agree. I look, I mean, there's so many ways. I think our best bet is to keep an open mind on this. Hey, Justin Fields just got selected by the Bears, so they have a quarterback now.
Whoa.
The Bears
Come
have a
on.
quarterback.
I spoke too soon.
Yeah.
Hey, the Bears might win. Like,
Come on. Wow.
Yeah. So for anybody listening, Azalea, Alfie's 2-year-old daughter, who is a Star Wars fanatic, she's been hopping in with us there, and I don't think she likes watching us. I think she wanted to see her dad's screen and watch something of her own. So she was a little shocked to see our ugly mugs on here. So, so I'll tell you what. We've hit on that. I think that's a great way to end on that. When we'll see where it goes. And the Bad Batch starts in a few days. Maybe we'll hear some more hints in there of things that'll lead us in that direction. But let's start. You guys want to start with non-Force heroes as your draft first, or the Force using villains? I'll let you guys choose.
Oh, so they're separate?
We're gonna do them
Yes.
separate, right? Yes.
two separate drafts.
Yep.
4 rounds. So we're gonna do a snake draft, right?
And,
so
and we'll
so
keep
for those
it.
that
We'll keep record of who's who, and then we'll put our teams out there, our groups out there, for people to see who they thought drafted the best.
for those listening, a snake draft means the person who picks first will pick first. Then it goes however many we have. We got 5. So the person who picks last will then pick 2 in a row, and then we return the other direction. So if you pick first, you actually will then pick your second pick will be like, I can't do math in my head. 9
Yes.
and 10
Yes.
would be picks 9 and 10 then. So you have to wait a little bit longer. But you got the first pick. So those are that are fantasy drafts. We're gonna go 4 rounds. So we're gonna pick teams of 4.
Yep. So we'll have 20 total choices in the non-Force using heroes and the Force wielding villains. We'll have one of each. And Brent, you mentioned that we should do some kind of game or whatever, or some kind of contest. I did not look into that. Does anybody want to figure out how we should go? We go oldest to youngest. We want to do alphabetical order. Don't care. You tell me what you guys want to do, and I'll set it up right now. So
I just threw this out there because I feel like I will actually get the first pick if I do this, because I threw it out there. We should go from who has read the least amount of Star Wars books and comics.
So that's definitely you. So you would
Yeah,
get
but
the
who's
first
got
pick.
second, third? Who gets second, third, fourth, and fifth?
Brent, that's like let's flip a coin that has tails on both sides of it. Come on, man.
I
don't-
know. I was trying to rig the whole thing,
Well,
but I was also
yeah.
going to try and like surprise you with I've got about 12 books underneath my belt now.
Well,
Maybe 15.
I will say this. I'm going to guess that Alfie or Nick have read the most.
Maybe
I'm
Alfie.
after them, maybe Mass after that. So let's go with the non-Force users.
Okay,
Let's go
so heroes.
Brent. Yep, non-Force using. So we'll go Brent with the first pick, Mass with the second pick. I'll go third. Nick and Alfie, which one of you guys think's read the most?
Alfie.
They're pointing at each other. You know what? I'm gonna flip it here. Here we go. If Boba is on top, Alfie gets it. If Boba's on the bottom, Nick gets it. Boba is on the bottom, so Nick gets the. You want the 4th or the 5th pick? Because you'll get.
Just so I
Okay.
don't have to go back to back.
Okay.
Yeah, so Alfie, you're gonna get back-to-back picks. I'm not sure if you're a fantasy guy or if we're doing a snake draft, so you get 5. You get the back-to-back picks.
So,
Okay.
I'm just writing it in there. So we'll go non-force using heroes, and I am turning this around here while I'm writing. Brent, you are first on the clock, and so I will let you make your first pick, and we'll go from there.
Oh, did I just delete? There it is. Never mind. So I made up a list. I did some and I have a question before. It's not going to be my first pick, but does Chirrut from Rogue One, because he's a will of the
Fair
Force, is Chirrut a Force user?
No, he is not. From everything, he is a believer. He's a religious believer of the Force,
Come
but
on.
he is not.
He's sensitive.
I mean, I feel like he's in the Force sense of, like, that's why I didn't know. So I'm throwing it out there just because I wanted to
Okay.
have the question.
That was
It's not
my
my
Dude's
choice.
blind.
We
He
have
can't
5
see,
of
but he
us.
dodges things.
We have 5. Let's
Right?
take a vote.
He walks.
I will say-
through bullets.
I will say no. He is not a force user. Thumbs up or thumbs down.
I think I'm gonna go with yes, personally.
Oh, Mass, the tiebreaker.
You're the tiebreaker. Up or down? Matt says he is a force.
Okay,
Matt says he's
so-
a force user.
I would
Okay.
say that I do enjoy me some Chirrut. So he
I love
is
him.
one. So I wasn't gonna take him first, but I did have him on my list of guys and females to choose from. I'm going to select Chewbacca. I'm sorry, I have to.
Ooh.
Chewbacca is my first pick. Since I got the first pick on Heroes.
Yep.
He is not a Force user, but he is in almost every version of Star Wars.
Yep.
Expanded universe, original trilogy, sequel trilogy, prequel trilogy. He's everywhere.
I
Clone
agree.
Wars, Rebels.
It's hard to beat Chewbacca. And when he's sentimental and emotional, we're all sentimental and emotional.
Oh yeah, when he screams and goes to his knees.
Yes. So
Yep. So Chewie.
Number 1 pick in the non-force using heroes, Chewbacca to Brent Dykman. Mass,
good
you are
pick.
on the clock for pick number 2.
I gotta go. Mr. Sarcasm. You gotta go Han Solo.
I figured
That
was
just
your pick.
pains Nick right there.
I knew he wasn't gonna make it to the 4th pick. He was gone early.
Yeah, so those are good picks right there. I mean, it's look, like you said, they've been around since 77. They're all still kicking when we get to 2019 when The Rise of Skywalker comes out. Let me take a quick glance here because I wasn't sure where I was going to end up in the draft, so I had to prepare myself. I'm going to go.
Did anybody
With-
else not prepare? Like,
Hey, I
Okay,
wrote
Alfie.
down things to just before we got going here. So I'm gonna go with R2D2. R2D2 is in everything. R2D2, even though he's a non-sentient being, I think R2D2 is one of the core things, and George Lucas wanted the story told through him and C-3PO. So I'm going to go with R2D2 on my non-force using hero pick. Go ahead.
I just want to point out the fact that he says he doesn't collect R2D2 on purpose, but he has a whole shelf of R2D2. Not a whole shelf. A whole like 6 shelves of R2D2 memorabilia, a pair of Adidas R2D2 shoes, and his first pick in the non-hero draft is R2D2. Don't let this man fool you. He's an R2D2 fan.
I also have R2D2 underwear and socks. That's for another time. Okay.
that's something you don't tell anybody.
Nick, number 4 pick, and then Alfie will have 5 and 6.
Can I ask a clarifier real quick?
Sure.
Are we drafting like if I'm a football team drafting, I'm picking like positionally because I think that they can beat the other people in that position. Is this just a love of, or is this like if they went head to head, you just pick like the strongest
I think it's open for interpretation because I
Sure.
think are they important to the story? Are they a hero? Could they take somebody else out? I mean, I will again go into R2. How many times did R2 zap somebody, do something that made somebody have a problem in their Clone Wars, for example? So it's open for interpretation, but yes, you can draft it how you want. I think
Okay,
will be
so-
interesting to see how it ends up
You
at
want to
the
say
end.
bye?
Pick like you got money on it, Nick.
So
And I would
not
like to-
helpful. Okay, thanks.
And I would also like to say that just throw out your reasoning for why you chose that person, right? So
Yeah.
so whatever reason you come up with, part of the
That's great.
discussion.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
Din Djarin.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah.
Sorry, Alfie. Din Djarin.
That one came right off the board because he was hoping.
He's gone. He left. The Mandalorian himself. I would.
That's solid pick there, my friend. I enjoyed
Alfie
that
was
one.
hoping he would land at number 5, but he got scooped up too early. So Alfie, you do have 2 picks in a row, and I think it's funny that Nick, if you look at it, Chewie, Han, R2, 1977 through now. Din Djarin, 2018 or 19? Was it 19?
18?
No.
I don't remember now. But yes, short term, but fan favorite, and he can do some good things. So, Alfie, on to you. 2 picks in a row. You have a full array here.
Hera Syndulla.
Oh,
Nice.
man,
She
that
was
on my list. That's
she was
good.
high on my list also. She works her way in there, man.
Yep.
Nice
Yep.
work.
Okay.
Hmm.
Then my next pick would probably be Lando.
That's good.
I debated him. So can I ask why Lando? Because I debated because he's kind of the scoundrel. What drew you to picking Lando?
It's very versatile. He's a pilot. Good
Gambler,
with disguises. Yeah. Gambler, takes chances.
ladies man.
Good in a fight.
I like it.
Dresses well.
He knows how to
Dresses well.
handle a
Nice.
Puffa Pig.
Oh, Puff a Pig! Puff a Pig!
Can I take
Alright.
Puff a Pig?
I'm sure you can.
Yeah.
Back to Nick for number 7.
I'm gonna break your heart here, Joe. I would go Rex
Good pick.
as
That's a good one.
my next pick.
That's a good one. And I don't think you even have to explain, my man. Rex is everything you need in a he's a
Quintessential good
Yeah.
guy in Rebels, in
Yep.
Clone Wars. I would love to see the re-release of Revenge of the Sith. See him
With-
make an appearance in somewhere in there.
I like it. That would be good. That would be good. Oh, it's up to me. See, I'm looking at the list instead of paying attention to what's going on here. I'm gonna go. Sorry, marking off some questionable ones that I had on the list here. I'm gonna go with Sabine Wren.
Wow, great pick.
Nice.
Sabine. Yes.
Why are you pulling Sabine up, huh? What's the draw there, sir?
So I think Sabine, you look at Sabine, and again, here's a character that can do so many different things, right? First of all, she's an artist. Second of all, Mandalorian. She's cool as heck. And she just, Rebels was one of my favorite shows. I think she's just a great character. So I will go with Sabine. I think she brings a lot to the table, and I'm hoping that it took somebody from the old school, take somebody from new school. Hopefully, she's going to be back around for some more things in the future, whether it's live action or animated. So
That would be awesome.
Mass, up to you.
Bo-Katan.
Nice.
Oh.
Nice. Look at the Mandalorian and the newer stuff going
Mhm.
quickly. I like that.
Yes, and she
I
is
like that.
cool. And Alfie's Bo-Katan is right there. Just
There
showed
you
up at
go.
the house today.
So I get 2 in a row. So I get the 2 pick, right?
Yes.
So I am gonna go with, because I saw the sizzle reel and I'm super excited, I would go with Cassian Andor.
Good.
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 I'm looking forward to the Cassian Andor story. I'm looking forward to it. He's kind of got that grit and that dirty rebel mentality. And I'm a big Jimmy Smits fan, so I'm gonna go with Bail Organa.
He was on my list.
He can go. I'm gonna go with Bail Organa because he can play some of the political game. So I got me some muscle. I got me some a couple muscle guys, and I got the political guy that's gonna try and smooth everything over.
I like it. I like it a lot. That's a good one. And he's been in more and more. Let's face it. Going through the prequels, having him in Rebels, having him in Clone Wars, having him in Rogue One. There's lots and he's supposedly going to show up in Cassian Andor as well. So I like the call on that one. Mass, up to you for your third pick out of 4.
I'm gonna take Poe Dameron.
Poe Dameron.
Is that our first sequel? Is that our first sequel
It's the
character?
first sequel character.
Wow.
Nice. And so, what is it about Poe, my friend?
I really like Poe. I mean, I don't think I don't think any of the characters were really used that well in any of the movies, but I did like his character. I like that he's a pilot. He becomes a leader. He has to learn to become a leader. And I like that actor. I can't remember him off the top of my head, but
Oscar Isaac?
yeah, Oscar Isaac. He's been in several things that I like. So
Yes. All right, back to me. Okay. This is fun. This is quick turnaround here. It's not like fantasy football drafts. This is
I did notice that you did turn around and look at your shelf to try to get some
I wanted to make sure. Well, I was looking, I was like, did I miss anybody? Because I got a list of like 25. And I was like, did I miss anybody back here?
Looking at the figures to see who he's missed or what his next pick's gonna be.
You are correct. I am gonna go with, I don't know if this will be, this is a tough toss up here. There's 2 that I'm looking at. You brought up Cassian and Bale, both who were stellar in Rogue One. I'm going to go with Jen Erso. I think Jen, I read a few books about her and the Catalyst book that led into Rogue One. And then I didn't think I was going to like her at the beginning of Rogue One, but the more I watched it, the more I was like, man, I'm really drawn to this character. And for her to face the hardship she did, losing her mom early, seeing her dad get killed, not wanting to be a part of any of it, getting left off by Saw Gerrera, and to know that Rogue Squadron, I think it was Alfie or Nick said that Rogue Squadron later on was kind of in honor of her for being, the Rogue One or whatever. So I'm going to go with Jen Erso on that one, which is odd for me. I'm looking, I have a droid and 2 female characters in my 3 picks here. That's kind of interesting. So, Mass, Nick, up to you.
Yep. I'm going to go with Baze Malbus.
Okay.
From Rogue One. The opposite of Chirrut.
Oh, his counterpart, the guy with the big gun.
Yes.
Yep.
Solely for the scene right after where Chirrut is killed, and he's walking around saying the inverse of "the Force is with me, I'm one with the Force."
Yep.
And he's just destroying Death Troopers left and right. It's awesome.
I like it. I like the pick, and I like the character. Good character. Alfie, back to you for back-to-backs.
Okay. So this is number 3, right?
Number 3 and number 4. These are your last 2 picks right here.
I will go with Iden Versio.
Ooh, pulling in the video game.
You said it was open.
100%. I'm
It's
fine
open.
with that. I love that. Didn't even think about that one in my list. Well played. And she also started off she started off as a villain and turns around and changes her mind and switches sides. Good work.
Like it.
And I'll finish up with Finn.
I'm going to say he's clear because while he might have sent something, it was never
right. It was never
established, right?
Right.
So
maybe they'll solve that in a comic. Put that out there. That
it has something to do with Luke's hand.
That's something to do with Luke's hand. Nick, now you know how I feel about these books. This is
I
my
get it.
same feeling.
I get it.
Like everything's got to be cleared up in the books. If you read that, then it makes sense. And if you read, I shouldn't have to read.
Just put it in my face.
Right?
Yeah. Just serve it to me on a platter and leave me be. Yeah. It's
Yes.
good.
Okay.
Yes.
Nick, your fourth and last pick of
Gosh.
non-force using heroes. I'm really interested where you're going to go with this because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 that I'm deciding between right now for this last one.
I feel like we need an honorable mentions list at some point too, because I'm struggling here. But I'm gonna go with Wedge Antilles.
Ah,
Good. Oh, masses.
That's awesome.
Yes, Wedge Antilles.
Okay.
I just finished that Aftermath again,
Yes.
and he's actually pretty bad in that.
Yeah. He's very involved with that group of books. And then he's also in that book before the Rise of Skywalker, right?
Resistance Reborn.
Yeah, Resistance Reborn. So in those 4 books, he plays a key role
Yeah.
in those 4 right there. So yeah.
He also plays a role in the Timothy Zahn trilogy. He plays
Yes.
Yeah.
the
So-
original Thrawn stuff.
In my homework for this, they said he is the Tom Cruise of the Star Wars saga, which I like. That pushed me over the edge.
I like it.
I like it too. You know, geez. You're right. We do need honorable mention. So when we're done with this, we're gonna have to mention a few people because there's some good stuff going on. I'm gonna go with 5s. I think 5s.
Okay.
I think 5s he's right up there with Rex and Cody and all those, and doesn't always get the recognition, but you see how important he is, especially when you get to those the lost episode season when it's him figuring it out and he's going through all the, he's figured it out. He's breaking out a Camino. And even, let's face it, in season 7, Rex says, find 5s, find out about 5s, right? And so 5s right there. I wanted to have one clone in there, and Nick got me on on Rex, so I will go with 5s on mine. I really like him in the Clone Wars series. And we are to Ryan for your last pick, number 4.
well, I really want to take Porkins, but I'm not going.
Stay on target. Stay on target.
I can hold it together.
Stay on target.
I'll take Commander Cody.
Okay,
Is he a good guy?
Just following orders.
that's right.
Okay, so he's a good guy following orders. I
Good
like it.
soldier follows orders. I like Cody too, and he was the only clone that we really got to know in the prequels. I mean, he was the only one that really spoke up or had any role, interacting with Obi-Wan. So I like Cody too. I've got his figure over there. I love it with the yellow on it. I mean, I don't know why I'm a Rex fan when Cody's all yellow, and yellow's my favorite color. So I don't know, but yeah, but Cody's cool. I like Cody a lot. Brent, finish us off right here.
So I'm gonna take us back to an OG, and I can't believe that she has lasted this long. And because I believe that Leia deserves to be selected on somebody's team, so I'm taking the Princess Leia. Oh, but she's got force.
Very, very
She's
force
got
sensitive, Brent.
force.
Wait a minute.
Yep.
I'm gonna check.
Hold
real
on,
quick.
there is
Yep,
another. There is another. Dang it!
Very,
That's why she hasn't been
very
taken.
force sensitive. Yep.
I call
I
myself
thought there
a
was
Star
some
Wars
injustice
fan.
happening.
I did.
And I'm sorry,
did.
Nick, but didn't that happen in a movie? A visual movie?
Right in front of you.
Yeah.
There's even a
Dang.
flashback to her training.
But
Oh gosh, Brent, I love
Fine.
that. That was so much fun.
fine. I guess I'm gonna have to go with another badass then and take Cara Dune.
That.
Oh,
Mm.
that's good.
Yep, that was my honorable mention.
Yeah.
So
Um,
I'm going with Cara Dune on that one because yeah. But anyway, I thought for sure there was something going on, and my brain was just like, we're forgetting about Leia. but we were non-force sensitive, and I just forgot there is another. And my family has it. My father had it. My
Yep.
sister has it. I can quote you the lines, and they just weren't in my head at the moment.
It's like
I
a
was
whole
on- I
training
was-
montage.
Yeah.
There's a whole thing where she hands Ray the lightsaber. It's
She force flies through space
just
back
call
to
me
the ship.
Just call me the Homer of Rule the Galaxy. I'm okay.
oh my gosh,
Homer Simpson.
that
just-
is fabulous. Absolutely
totally-
fabulous.
So
I'm
here's
getting
a
you-
question.
We're getting you a
I got-
T-shirt that says Leia doesn't use the Force. Sorry,
I
go
got
ahead.
stuck. I got stuck with like the gray area characters or characters that used to be bad that then turned good. Like, where do we stand on Boba Fett now?
He's a
Yeah.
mercenary.
He's still.
So
I
what?
would
He
say
just he doesn't apply to this list.
No, because he was just doing it to honor his code. He said, "I
Yeah.
owe you."
Okay. All right.
He made a
But-
deal, and he's honoring the deal,
It's good from my point of view.
right? But in Legends, he also worked for the Rebellion at the same time he worked for the Empire.
Yeah,
Moral gray area.
he's been
Okay,
back
all
and
right.
forth. So here's
Just
some,
whoever pays the most.
here's some that I was very close to picking on any of these. One, Padme Amidala. I
Yeah.
had her
Mhm.
on the list. I was very close. Admiral Akbar,
Ooh.
C-3PO, Echo, Jar Jar,
yeah.
Admiral Holdo. I mean, she took out the big ship, right? She pulled the Holdo maneuver.
Holdo maneuver.
The
Yeah.
chip kind of took out the other
Yeah,
ship.
she pressed the gas pedal. Come on.
It was her
Callus,
idea, though.
Agent Callus from Rebels.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Zeb from Rebels.
Yeah.
Yep.
Duchess Satine,
Yep.
Grief Karga, and Quill. That's who I had as people who do not get picked. I'm sure there's others, but those are just off the top of my head that I had kind of scribbled off to the side. But that's some good lists for the people we picked to still have those left over right there. So I'm going to invert the draft for the
Yeah.
next one. So instead of Alfie being the 5th pick, he's number 1. Nick is number 2. I somehow say a number 3 both times. Ryan is 4, Brent 5 and 6, and then back the other way. We are talking about Force using villains. They don't have to be Sith. They just have to be Force using villains. They could be Force sensitive, whatever, but not be full Sith characters. So, let's see, Alfie, you are starting us off. Force using villains, you lead the way, my friend.
Okay. Well, before I get started, back to Nick on the Boba Fett, because my honorable mention, and I wasn't sure how they would really fall, was Infus Nest.
Oh,
Ooh,
yeah.
Yeah,
Are
That's
they-
good.
It never really explained. Yeah, she said rebellion, but
Yeah.
that's still kind of a gray area. You don't know what happened afterwards.
Well,
Okay.
so my other honorable mention was Mayfeld, the
Uh-huh.
Bill Burr, which I would argue that he actually did turn the corner.
I think so. Yeah, I
I still
agree with
think
you.
I still put him in the mercenary, though. I still feel like he's in the mercenary
that's
part.
fair.
Like he was doing it to he was
Gotta
doing it to
sleep at
try to
night.
save himself.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
Okay, my number 1 would definitely be Darth Vader.
Okay.
Okay.
Do
Darth
you want to
Vader.
explain why Darth Vader's your number 1?
Because he's badass.
Yeah, that's fair. I was hoping that's what you were going to say. That's right.
Oh gosh. Nick, you get the number 2 pick.
Number
Plenty
2,
to choose
I
from
got to
here.
go with Papa Palpatine himself.
Brent said.
No, I figured, especially since the draft got flipped. But I'm hoping to surprise you guys with my picks on this one. I'm hoping.
She
Okay.
Palpatine.
So I think you're right. It's like Trevor Lawrence. There's no reason to even go do a half an hour thing on his stats. Trevor Lawrence is a number
We don't
1
need
pick.
10 minutes.
There's a reason. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh gosh. You know what? I want to take this person just so they don't get stolen later. So I wouldn't put them up this high, but I'm going to go with Asajj Ventress. I don't think she's as strong as some of those others that we're going to mention here later, but there's something about that character. Now I know at the end you could say she's kind of redeemed herself, but she was pretty badass the
Yeah.
whole time. She was very cool. She was cutthroat for most of the time, and I just love it. I think that was such a great character. So I'm gonna go with Saj Ventress. Yes, she dabbled with flirting with Obi-Wan and Quinlan Boss at the end, but she still was pretty dark with Quinlan in that book. So Mass, up to you for pick number 4.
So is Mara Jade, is she a good guy?
I say she's
She
It-
was
I'd
the
say-
Emperor's hand at one point.
I would say
Huh?
that she would qualify on this side.
if she I mean, I guess if we're gonna go that way, she can qualify on both sides. I do think she's turned the corner though. I think by the time the storyline obviously is turned, she's now a good guy. But I'm willing to let it go because she was the Emperor's hand.
He was the villain in the book too.
Yep.
So I would qualify it.
Well, I'm taking Mara Jade.
Okay. Mara Jade. I think we are a Mara Jade fan club here on this podcast. I think people know that. So and we have Brent back to back.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with the Sith Emperor Tenebris. Nick just piqued his
Wait.
interest from Revan. From Revan.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry.
The
Yeah.
emperor, the emperor who basically sucked the life out of all the other Sith and became
Man,
immortal.
look at you.
Right?
man.
I've become a dark sider. I'm telling you. I
You were
was going to
bringing up
surprise
book
you.
stuff, man.
Right? Like,
Tenebris or Vitiate?
No,
well, it's both. It's like he was initially like his birth that I went and watched and did some research so I could
Gotcha,
like actually
okay.
sound. So it is Vicious is like what he became once he became a Sith
Gotcha,
Lord.
gotcha.
But Tenebris, I think it's Tenebris was what his like given name or whatever it was before he became the emperor, and then he just became like the man who basically destroyed the planet and like made it all hollow from the Revan book, man.
Right.
That's awesome.
Which prequel or a little precursor, Tenebris, Master of Darth Plagueis.
It is. Like,
You
but
are
that's
correct.
not. But I don't think that's
Not the same guy.
Yeah,
right? But
yeah.
he used the name. It's kind of like the popes.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
use
yeah.
the name to try to correct. So then my second pick, because I get the back to back, I'm going to pull another one is Joru Sabayoth, because you brought him up. I was thinking it might trigger somebody thinking about him, but he was kind of the villain of like the Heir to the Empire trilogy
Yes.
stuff. All of that.
Mhm.
He was like that dark sider that was controlling and trying to control Luke and trying to get him on his side. And they had to use the Islamare to try to control his Jedi forces and put him in rooms with the animals to try to keep him from being so powerful. So there you go. Those are two that I thought, booyah.
You're surprising me on those. I mean, just to think that you are saying those just blows me away. That's awesome.
And-
So proud of you. That's
I am
amazing.
too. It's a growth.
Come on.
There's been growth. I mean, really.
Yeah,
Um,
I told you I've read about 12 to 15 of those
Come
books.
on,
man.
let's go.
I'm about halfway through Phasma, by the way, and I'm actually enjoying it.
There we go.
The Phasma, Nick, the Phasma book was a very good recommendation. So
Shockingly good.
I'm enjoying it.
Right.
Mass, you were after Brent's double shock power. It's up to you.
I'm taking Bane because I don't want to hear you guys talk about Bane. And I
Flip
don't
my
want to hear you
table.
guys talk about me not reading that goddamn book yet. So I'm taking Bane.
Dang
Good. That
I
was good.
honestly thought Joe was gonna take him.
That
when he
was
took.
that was who I was going to take, but I said no because I'll take him, and then Asajj will be gone before I get back. But I was just taking a chance. But yes, Bane was the next thing I was going to. So Mass, that's a good pick, and I tell you, I've been a fan since 1977. Nick and I talked about it on the Lothal Library. I never wanted to read the books about the dark characters. Man, that trilogy though. I would just wish they'd make that into a movie tomorrow. A trilogy of movies. That was just so good. So Darth Bane rocks. And if you haven't read it, because does Mark Thompson do
He does.
He
He
does.
does.
Mark Thompson doing Bane is
It's fantastic.
killer. You will
I have
love
no
it.
other questions other than from Mark when he comes on, other than talk to me about Bane.
Oh
That's it.
gosh. Okay, it's up to me. I am gonna go with someone I've got a new affection for in the dark world, and that is Count Dooku. I'm gonna go Count
Oh,
Dooku.
where's Tony when you need him?
We between the books, the Clone Wars, everything like that. Again, he's just one that's grown on me over and over and over. Master and
Oh,
Apprentice.
there we go. Yeah, good times.
What do we do?
So what do you think he was gonna say?
What?
Oh, Mass is on something else.
Mass is locked. Did we lose you, Mass, or did we lose
I'm
me?
good.
Okay.
Okay.
Were you ripping on my Count Dooku pick?
No, I thought you were locked, and I was ripping on you being locked.
Ah.
No.
But
If
I guess I'm locked.
you were locked. That's all right. Nick, up to you.
Okay, number 2, I'm gonna go Darth Xana
There we go.
from
I mean, if you got
The
Bane.
Apprentice of Bane, and the reasoning for this second pick overall is Sith sorcery is the scariest damn thing in the entire world.
Yeah.
So freaky, and it's enough for me to go, okay, you get number 2 on my overall pick. Don't use it on me.
Yeah. She is BA. She really is. Again, a great character. Love to see it as an action figure as well as in live action. That would be great. Alfie, back to back.
Back to back. I'm gonna go with Darth Revan
Okay.
and then Darth Sion.
Where's Scion from? So help me out with that one. I've heard the name before, but I just don't know a lot of detail.
The old Sith Wars.
Stuff you would
Yeah.
like, Brent.
Alfie, is Sion the one whose like body is like
Yeah, because
exploding?
it's all kind of degrading.
Yeah.
She
And he's-
mastered immortality.
That's right. Okay.
I just
it.
like him on the Galaxy Heroes game.
Yeah.
I think you could bring a lot of Sith kind of people or dark force users from the games, which I never played, so I'm missing out on all that stuff. Nick, we're back to you.
Easy. Darth Maul.
Yes, it is.
It's crazy that he made it to basically the third round, like
Yeah.
15 in, like or so. That's
Yeah.
crazy to me.
Which, you know what's funny? Like, he was further down on my list than I thought he would be, but I always think of him from episode 1, and for some reason, like, Clone Wars and Rebels doesn't register until I like sit and think about it for a minute. So he probably should be higher on this list.
I'm the same.
Especially Clone Wars season 7, he should be higher.
Agreed. I'm gonna go with this is one that I really like from the books. And you guys can tell me if I mispronounce it or not. Darth Caedus, Jason Solo, when he became Darth Caedus, is that how it's pronounced?
Yeah.
That was a great character. I thought that was well done where he turned bad. His sister became the sword of the Jedi. That was a good character that doesn't get enough props, especially since we've gone down a different path. But I really enjoyed that when the books were going on. Didn't he have a daughter and he, all that. I mean, there was a lot going on there. But yeah, that was one that I really enjoyed from the books, Darth Caedus. Mass, back to you.
Kylo Ren.
I was just getting ready to say more.
Oh man.
Oh, you just ruined it.
That makes it even sweeter.
You just did that. You did that twice. You stole Bane from those two, and you stole Kylo from me.
You did.
Ah,
You're a Sith stealer.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Brent, we have a double shot coming from you right here.
yeah.
Wow.
I'm hating myself for doing this one because It's another book. It's another book that happened after the movies. And my headcanon told me that this should have not have occurred in the timeline that it did. And the book should have been titled Darth Sidious and not Darth Plagueis. But I'm going to take Darth Plagueis.
There we go,
I like
Brent.
I didn't take that one, just hoping you would, Brent. I wanted to hear it.
He wanted to
I
hear
wanted to
it
see it
from you.
leave your mouth.
I wanted you to talk to me like that.
I mean, yes, there is power. Yes, that book, like, there's a lot of that stuff in that book, like, oh, they're foreshadowing. Of course they're foreshadowing because it was written after it happened. So they can foreshadow it. Like, there's a lot of stuff in there that's like, it just
I'm
it
sorry,
fits-
but isn't the entire like episode 1 exactly what you're saying?
I mean,
Because Qui-Gon, they foreshadowed Obi-Wan's master as Qui-Gon.
I know. I guess I didn't want him to be that popular. And when I was listening to him, I never really bought into the Plagueis being that good or being that powerful. But I do enjoy the book. I actually, one of the ones that I've listened to 2 or 3 times now, because I listened to it and then I listened to it when you guys were going to do the Lothal Biaberry because it was
it's coming up soon.
right. No, but I listened to it because I wanted to have it fresh when I listened to that story, and just so I could have the conversation in my head when I was listening to you guys. So Plagueis is going to be that pick, and then my turnaround pick, I'm actually going to have to go to my notes and consult my notes here. So
As
if
Brent
I
disappears from the screen,
right, so if my screen goes down, I have them actually in my phone notes, so I have to go take a look. I'm gonna. Yeah, so it's one of a couple people, and I'm not gonna because there's still people to choose from. So I'm going to go with. Oh, I just had him, and then he went away. Oh, from that same book with the Darth from Revan, something about Scourge really intrigued me. I was a big fan of the red skin Scourge. There was just something about that character that kind of like that book appealed to me as well as one of the ones. But Scourge, I will take Scourge.
let's just pause for a minute here, shall we? Let's take a quick timeout, and the timeout is I'm looking at Brent's 4 picks. Book, book.
I told you 2 things. I was going to shock you, and then when you were talking about, because when we were talking about this, Alfie had the question, can we go expanded universe for this one? There's not a lot of in canon. We wouldn't have had a decent draft with in canon stuff.
No, but I just like it.
The other part is all the ones that I've pulled are from like 5,000 BBY. Like we're talking like a lot of the ones that I know Plagueis isn't that
Say
far
what
back.
you want. Once you start down the dark path,
Forever.
Dominate your
Yes. No. So you guys have got me into reading the books, and like I honestly have been pulled to the Sith and a lot of the darker stories because it's stuff that I don't know about. So and it's new characters to me, but it keeps me in the Star Wars world, like what I keep saying all the time on the podcast. But yeah, all of my characters do come from books. I mean, I'll give my honorable mentions if they don't get mentioned, but I have a couple others that I could have pulled.
Sure. Mass, your last pick of the draft.
I don't want to pick this guy because I actually hate him, but I'm taking Pong Krell.
Oh,
nice.
He was on my list as a possible. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I wanted him dead. Yeah, I did. I wanted them to kill him so badly.
Oh gosh, that's great. He was a great character though in Clone Wars.
He was. He really was. That's when it really started getting good for me, was the Umbara. That was a really good arc.
I
thought you were gonna say Darth Jar Jar.
Oh.
I thought maybe we'd go there.
I am
no.
Couldn't do. So I, again, like you guys, I'm going to probably have some honorable mentions. but I'm gonna go with the son from the Mortis arc.
Dang it.
Ooh.
Alfie got his taken.
Happens to
That's
us
pretty
all,
good.
Alfie. I really like that character, and honestly, if they could have done more with that character later on, I would have been happy with that. I thought that was a really as weird as the Mortis arc is. I thought there were really good characters and stories in that, so I like that one. So,
Well, and true or false, Joe, the voice of that is the same guy that does Star Killer and that does Maul in
Sam
season
Witwer.
same, yeah, it's the same guy that does the Sun, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So of course it's a good character. That guy rocks.
He does. Sam Witwer. If I could ever get Sam Witwer on this show, my gosh.
Oh,
I just say, Sam, hey, we're just gonna let you talk and we'll just sit here for an hour. Thank you.
and you
but-
have to talk like Maul
yeah.
or get out.
So yeah, I sorry, Alfie. Nick, your last pick of the draft.
Yes, I'm gonna go for my last pick with Darth Crate.
Oh, it's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, Darth Crate.
Are you looking at my list?
That was a good
No,
one between the comic
he's
and
scary.
yeah. I mean, that's yeah.
Which remind me which book season? Because I know the comics, but I couldn't remember.
Well, wasn't he the guy in the Kenobi book that was the
Yeah, Asherad Het
yes.
is what he starts with, and then he becomes Darth Crate.
Yes. And so he was a Tusken Raider in the Kenobi book, right?
Right.
And then in the
Right.
and then in the later comics, the Legacy comics, is when he becomes Darth Crate. And
That's right. That's it.
he is a great character. You're right. I was actually toying with him and the son. So that's a good call on that one. We're hitting on all the right notes here. Brent, I actually think you would like this character. Unfortunately, he's in a comic. It was the Legacy comics, which are no longer canon, but I still really enjoyed those. So Alfie finished strong, finished with us here to end the Force Villains draft.
Okay. I'm not sure if this one counts. So
It's
I
not
can pick
Princess
something
Leia,
else.
is it?
No.
Hey,
But
hey, can we forget that mistake?
No.
All right.
Go ahead, Alfie.
Mother Talzin of the
Oh.
Night Sisters.
I would say
Yeah.
that counts.
I wasn't sure if
100%.
that would count as a force sensitive
Yep.
or not.
I agree. I think that's a good one. Who had some Alfie, I think she was an important character and man, very well done in the Clone Wars. So
Mhm.
I think we all agree she's definitely in this group here.
The ones that I was going to pull would be like the second sister, the fifth brother, the seventh sister, the Inquisitors from Rebels, and then also Cal Kestis in Fallen Order. So I was gonna like those were the ones that I was debating was the any of the Inquisitors / second sisters, what like the named
that's
ones.
really good.
Right. Nick, Ryan, Alfie, any other honorable mentions?
Darth Malik
Yeah.
Darth Malik?
with the Star Forge.
I'm a fan of that one. I like the way that he talked in the book that I listened to. I believe that was a Mark Thompson, but they put like a breather on him, and he had like a kind of a robotic Bane-ish,
Yeah.
Bane from like Dark Knight Bane way of talking.
right.
We've got Snoke, Savage Opress,
Yeah, he was on my list.
Quinlan Voss could have been put in there.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that one again because is it good or bad?
Right.
I
Darth
had
Talon.
Darth Talon.
Yeah,
Well,
that's a
yeah.
good one.
It's a really good
Darth
one.
Talon. Go ahead, Nick.
I had Darth. I say it wrong every time. Nihilus.
Yeah.
Nihilus.
Yeah.
He's
I love
consuming
the
planets.
mask. Yeah.
Just crazy.
Exar Kun. Mask.
Ooh.
Isn't that one was that one from the Tales of the Old or something like that? Tales of the Jedi or something like that?
Oh yes.
His tombs were on Yavin 4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There
Hold
we
on.
go.
So, and I think I might have made a mistake. So Malik is the one that was partnered with Revan, right?
Right.
There's Malgus.
Yeah.
Is the one that I was talking about. So I
From
think
the
it was
Deception book.
Yes, Malgus is the one that I was talking about. So I'm sorry. Malik was the one that was partnered with Revan.
And what about Star Killer? Star Killer from
Yeah.
Force Unleashed.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's his name? Isn't it like Galen Merrick or something? Is his non-Sith? It's something like that.
Yeah.
He's awesome, and that's a really good one.
So here's another one that I'm gonna have a question because I don't know this one. Dash Rendar, would he have fallen in the first draft? Would he have been a non-force using hero?
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was on my list.
Does he not
Was
fall
he?
into the category of mercenary, or is he an actual rebel? Smuggler?
Tough.
He was a generic Han Solo. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah, fair. He's a poor man's Han Solo. We'll put it that way.
How do we put Han Solo in a video game when he's in?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. How do we do
Make
this?
him
Oh
up.
yeah, let's make up a guy just like him.
Yeah.
We're good. All right. Well, we nailed it. I'm gonna need help with spelling and everything. So the guys you picked and the ladies you picked, because I don't know Scion or whatever. I don't know that one. So send me those kind of things in a text or whatever, so I can make sure I put them properly in our teams. And I'll post this out on Twitter from Rule of the Galaxy. Then I'll let people peruse this and kind of vote and see what they think, who had the best teams on these. So I liked it. That was a lot of fun, and I think it made you definitely think of the characters and made you think where they stand and what they mean to you and all that kind of stuff. So, you guys have any closing thoughts? We got. I know the Patriots just took Mac Jones.
I was gonna say, how
Quarterback.
is the NFL draft still on? It's like,
They're pick 19 out of 32. Pick
oh my
19.
gosh, they're only on 19. So the Colts, we're done right before the Colts for the
Yes.
Colts fans.
Colts fans, yes.
They're
You
coming
gotta
up
go
at
right.
20, right?
21.
21. Okay.
They're
Uh,
probably
going-
going to down anyway.
Yeah. It's going long because they're having people sit in that big old chair.
Oh yeah.
So awkward.
Mass, any closing thoughts before we break from this episode of Rule the Galaxy?
Yeah, I loved my Darth Bane pick. And,
We should make that a rule. You can't pick unless you've read the book.
Yeah, you have to
I
read
love you,
it. to
Mass,
pick
but
it.
you've
You
got to read
stole
it.
that.
Come on, man.
oh, come on.
Well, he
That's
was in
the-
the Clone Wars.
He was mentioned, yes.
There you go.
No, he wasn't just mentioned.
yeah.
He showed up.
He showed up to give us
Hashtag
Yoda,
not my
right?
Bane. Not my Bane.
Nick, any closing thoughts before we break?
No, this was super fun. I really enjoyed this. Thanks for putting this together.
You got it. Big Bad Brent, anything before we head out?
Yeah, I hate myself for some of the picks that I had with the Darths. Specifically, I'm glad that I didn't have to take Emperor Palp, but I still had to take his master though with the Plagueis. I felt like he needed to be taken, but no, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I would love to throw these in about once a month if it gets slow. I know we're gonna have Bad Batch to talk about for probably 2 solid months. So,
okay.
but if it ever gets slow, this is a good filler. We could do different topics. It's a lot of fun. I love to see the reactions. I love to hear the discussion of where it fits. And especially when somebody steals one from somebody else, it's that instant reaction you can't stop having.
Well, you know what? Maybe we'll keep the teams and we'll start trades because there's people I want from other teams. Alfie and Azalea, any closing thoughts before we break?
Yeah. What are we gonna do for May the 4th?
I haven't thought about it. Oh gosh. It's going to be tough to do something on that day. I think with all of us being swamped and busy. I don't know. Any thoughts? Anybody? Can we watch something that night and let's watch the Bad Batch.
There's the watch party thing you can do.
Yeah,
on Disney
let's do
Plus.
the watch party thing on Disney.
It just
let's plan
all it does. It just lets you watch it at the same time as everybody else, and you can kind of give like emojis back and forth.
Well,
we can text back as you watch it.
Mass, watch it once before we watch it, and then we'll pick at like 9 or 10 o'clock that night. We'll set a watch party, and we'll all do exactly what we're doing, and have Bad Batch going on in front of us.
I like it.
Love it.
Good with that? Because
Let's
Matt
do
said
it.
he has to watch it once without me talking. So, guys, Brent, this is a great idea. A lot of fun. Thank you for setting this up and getting us thinking. I'm going to go break so I can watch the Colts pick, the Steelers pick, and see what else happens. See if somebody gives the Packers everything and backs up the truck. He's Aaron Rodgers. I doubt it. Of course, Jimmy G's now on the block, possibly too. Anyway, enough football talk. Thank you guys for doing this. Thanks for always being a part of it. Nick, we will re-look at our schedules to set up the Lothal Library on Darth Plagueis.
Deal.
Brent, start looking at your schedule so you can get Fulcrum
Yeah.
Files up and going as the host. And
Yeah.
you know what? Everybody follow us again, Rule the Galaxy SW on Twitter, Rule the Galaxy SW at gmail.com, Rule the Galaxy on Facebook, Rule the Galaxy on YouTube. Yeah, let's get some Rule the Galaxy tattoos going. Somebody, I think I want to see pictures of that. But signing off for the whole crew. Thank you, everybody. This is Joe saying until next week, may the force be with you.